What's going on, guys? Austin here, and in this video, we are going to be taking a look at the extra points week 5 booming and busting defenses. So let's get it started. I like a lot more defenses than I don't like this week. Minnesota versus Chicago, that one seems like an obvious one. Now, Minnesota isn't a great defense that they've just, been a must start all year, but really against the Bears, it's kind of like, the opposite of the Lions. Any defense, start against the Bears. Any defense, sit against the Lions. Jacksonville versus Houston. I almost put Houston versus Jacksonville on this start as well, but I just couldn't bring myself. I don't think Jacksonville is going to turn the ball over as much against Houston as they would against other teams. But Houston does have a good defense. Now, this is going to be a low-scoring game, so keep that in mind. Houston isn't going to be forced to take shots, and that is going to lead to less turnovers. But what still is going to come from this is there's going to be a few sacks, and they're not going to give up a lot of points. I think Jacksonville is probably going to win this game, something like 17-13, 17-12. And I like their starters to keep it a low-scoring game, get a couple sacks, and be a safe pick this week. Denver versus Indianapolis. I think that Matt Ryan is probably going to put up a lot of yards, maybe 1-2 touchdowns, but probably 2 picks, right? Going to get sacked a few times. Bradley Chubb, Randy Gregory, Patrick Surtain is out there, and the great complement of safeties that Denver has. Especially Indianapolis coming off a short week and another devastating loss this season. I don't expect them to be great. But Denver, they've got all the pieces to, really make Matt Ryan's day uncomfortable. Green Bay versus the Giants. This one's more plain and simple. It's the Giants. The Giants have a horrendous offense. It's basically Saquon Barkley or nothing else. Now, from this standpoint, Saquon Barkley should have a field day against the Packers' run defense, because the Packers' run defense has been bad for the last several years. They thought they answered it with Quay Walker and Devondre Wyatt. That is absolutely not the name. They have Devondre Campbell and Quay Walker and somebody Wyatt. But that's not the point. The point is that none of those guys are making a difference in the run game. Saquon Barkley's probably going to end up with 200 total yards, give or take, in this game. But I still don't think that Green Bay is going to, get pushed around by any means. Score-wise, they're probably going to get a few turnovers, and they're probably going to win, giving up maybe 14, 15 points. I like New Orleans versus Seattle because I don't think that Seattle could ever possibly do what they did against Detroit to the Saints. The Saints have a good run defense. They always have, as long as Cam Jordan has been there. And they have a decent pass rush to go on top of that, things that the Lions don't have. Now they have a true lockdown corner. They've got Marcus May in the secondary, as well as, they have Tyrann Mathieu in the secondary. Put all that together, and New Orleans should have a lot better of a defense than they've had so far. Look for them to get right versus a Seattle team that's way, way too high on their offense right now. And then San Francisco against Carolina. I thought about putting Carolina as well, but I'm not going to start a defense really against Kyle Shanahan unless it's like, the Bills or maybe the Packers. But otherwise, San Francisco against Carolina, they've got all the pieces. They just beat the hell out of the Rams. Granted, they always beat the hell out of the Rams. But Carolina, you're starting Baker Mayfield at quarterback. You're going to get what happens. You're going to get what's coming to you when you start Baker Mayfield at quarterback. You're looking at 2 turnovers and probably 3 or 4 sacks in this game. Now my busts, defenses who I would sit, Miami at the Jets. Excuse me. So the Jets have a large complement of weapons that you've got 2 decent cornerbacks down in Miami, 2 top 15 cornerbacks, maybe even. But what that's gonna end up leaving out is, even if you do decide to just blanket those guys, play too high, you're either leaving Elijah Moore, Corey Davis, or Garrett Wilson open. One of the 3. You can't cover all of them, right? And even if you try to just drop everybody into the secondary, then you've got Michael Carter and Breece Hall to worry about, who can both play on the field at the same time. Not to mention Tyler Conklin. So I don't like Miami in this spot. They might get a turnover. They might get a couple sacks. But I think the Jets are going to put up some points. Cincinnati at Baltimore. Now they're projected for some reason to be one of the higher rated defenses. I don't expect Lamar Jackson to have a slow offensive output 2 weeks in a row. It just really doesn't happen. He's not going to have 120 yards and 2 interceptions again. That was easily the worst game that he's had in a long time. And Cincinnati, they put up points on the Ravens defense last year. So look for Lamar to, if he's needing to, he's going to be putting up some points as well. And then Tennessee versus Washington. I know Washington is a safe bet as far as, we're going to start a defense to get some sacks on them. But so far, what Carson Wentz hasn't done is turn the football over despite all of the sacks that have been thrown his way. In Tennessee, I don't believe in their pass rush. So without that pass rush, I think Carson Wentz is going to be able to move the football well enough. And I would expect this game to be a higher scoring game than you might realize. Ryan Tannehill, this might be the coming out party for Trey Burks. And the complete complement of weapons that they have in Washington is just going to be too much overall for Tennessee to be able to stop. All right, guys, let me know what you think about your team this week in the comments down below. Be sure to like and subscribe and stay up to date on all of our future content.